Hello everybody, my name is Frances Mullenix and I am a voice, movement and acting teacher. My area of focus is on the body and body systems and how that impacts a person's breath, voice and performance. I'm joined here today by my two teaching assistants, Bowie and Taboo, on this rather stormy day in Atlanta. I'm here to offer a gentle movement practice with an investigation into how the body can influence the experience of breath and voice. To begin, I invite you to come into standing if you wish. However, you can also start in sitting. Take a moment to find a nice, luxurious stretch in your body, no matter where you are. And maybe this stretch turns into a yawn. Just giving yourself an opportunity to move however your body would like to move. Perhaps you feel like stretching out your back or opening your chest by bringing your hands behind you. Perhaps you feel like expanding your front, back and sides of your body at once and taking a big breath here and then letting that go. The first term I want to introduce you to is standing corpse, and what that is like a standing savasana if you practice yoga. Simply what it is having your feet about hip distance apart or 2 fists apart and your knees are soft. And really feeling the work of the skeleton here, letting the jaw hang and feeling your strong, supple spine. And I invite you to feel the weight of your arms. And this is just a moment to tap into a connection with your own felt sense of your body, finding some gravity here. Now, part of working gently is not pushing for intensity. And so I invite you to start by letting your eyes wander around the room where you are. Perhaps you notice something that your eyes would like to see. Or you just notice that your eyes are catching on an object or a color or a shape, or the way that the light is connecting with an object or a shadow. And just letting your eyes move around the room very gently, exploring how to do this without actually making any effort. How much ease can you find in this moment? Just letting the eyes rove around the room, allowing them to see whatever there is to see. And you might also notice as you're doing this that you are breathing. But there's no need to breathe in a particular way. Your breath already is doing what it needs to do. Your body already knows how to breathe. And in a moment, you're going to let this go, seeing what's around you in 3, 2, 1. Now I invite you to find a small bend and release in your knees quite quickly, keeping this really easy. And the image that I want you to work with is that your skin is a bag, a flexible container, and you hold the ocean inside of your body. And as you're gently bending and releasing the knees, you're feeling the ocean move around the inside of your skin. This bag, this flexible container, letting the jaw go, letting the shoulders go, letting the arms be heavy, letting the buttocks release. And notice your breathing. Your breath knows what to do. Letting the head go. Letting the jaw go. Checking in again with the arms and the buttocks. Letting the tummy go. Ooh, letting the lower back go. That you are simply an ocean contained in this flexible container, this bag. And there may even be some side-to-side action, just as you're moving up and down, letting go more and more without the need to control or know where you're going to end up. You can play a little with speed here. You might explore what it's like to let the knees go a little faster and feel what that's like. And you can hear in my voice how this movement is impacting my sound. And so I invite you to take 30 seconds here to explore your own sound. Just picking an open vowel like an ah, or an ooh, or an ee, and seeing how your sound is shaped in this way by the action of your body. Ooh. And now slow it down a little. I call this the drunken shakes. What's it like to slow down this action? How does this make you feel? Is there a story here, an image? And now explore again those vowel sounds with this slower, looser way of moving your body. And so you can move between this shorter, faster experience or this bigger, slower movement, however you'd like. And keep exploring what's happening to your breath and your sound here as you do. Let the head go, let the jaw go, let the arms go, let the torso release as you feel this ocean moving inside of your body. Now in a moment, your skin, your container is going to spring a leak. And the ocean is going to come out of your left arm towards the ceiling, like that. And I want you to now explore what it's like to allow that stream of water to shoot up through that arm and then let the arm release. And at any time you can find an exhale. as you do this, I want you to think of energy moving down the opposite leg into the floor. Whew. Whew. So you're feeling this diagonal. And now that arm might start to move in other dimensions, to the front, to the side, and make sure you look behind you, to the back. Exploring as you will, whatever feels interesting. And you're going to let that arm go and explore your right arm. Same idea, feeling that oppositional movement of energy through the opposite leg and foot into the ground. So my right arm is shooting up so we can be mirrors of each other. And I'm feeling that energy line moving into the earth through my other foot. And now you might want to play with both arms, letting them go wherever they want. And feeling the energy not only shoot out of the arms, but then down on opposition into the feet, into the ground. Just letting them go wherever they'd like to go. And now you're going to let the arms rest. And I want you to come to your left foot, letting there be a stream of water shooting out of the left foot towards the front. This is a great chance to connect to your center, just under your belly button and to the side. This is called the dantian or hara. And then look behind you to the back. And then letting that go and switching to the other foot. And feeling that stream of water pushing out of that foot and letting that leg go. With a little connection to dantian. And then come back and find the original movement a little here. Maybe something has changed. Notice your breath, doing what it knows to do. And just notice your sound. And now explore arms and legs, right? Just letting them do, overthought it, letting them do whatever they'd like to do. And this is a great chance to explore some opposition. And then come back. And notice if anything's changed. At any time, if this feels too much, come back to orienting. Everyone, take a break now. And just let the eyes go wherever they'd like to go around this room. Even this is a lot to process. So just taking the foot off the gas a little. And noticing whatever there is to see. Letting the jaw go. Letting the glutes go if they're active. And you can stay here as long as you'd like to stay. And if you'd like to come back into this original movement, I invite you to do so for one more moment. Letting that ocean move through your body, feeling the waves crashing up on the shoreline of your form. And just noticing how your breath is a part of this as well. And then letting that go gently. But I invite you to stay with this feeling of inside, feeling this movement, but perhaps to an outside observer, it looks still. And even so, you might find a little shifting of weight forward and back if that feels good. Or a little side to side. At any time, finding an exhale of sound. And I encourage you to think of your voice in this moment as vibration. So if you exhale on sound, what do you feel? Where do you feel this sound? And perhaps your sound is a way for your body to communicate to your consciousness about how it's feeling. Yeah. And if you want to keep with this oscillation of movement, if this feels good, stay. And if you want to explore it getting a little smaller and a little smaller until you find something that feels like stillness, but an active stillness, then you can investigate that. Noticing perhaps that even in stillness, your body is moving, that there's choreography there of your breath and how your whole body rearranges itself to keep you balanced and upright as you breathe. That there's choreography in your blood vessels as your blood is pumping, and of course your heart is some of the most basic choreography of your body as it beats. Now I want you to think of your hips as being on a horizontal plane, so the horizon. And I want you to just keep the hips on that plane, but you're going to make circles. So it doesn't matter if you want to circle clockwise or counterclockwise, but just starting those hips on a circle, keeping the knees bent. Stay with your breath. Sometimes when we start to think about movement, stop breathing. And so staying with some exhale on sound can help you to ensure that your jaw doesn't clamp up and that you stay connected to your breath and your voice as you do this. And I really enjoyed getting to take my hands off my hips because I really felt gravity acting on my shoulders. And that's changing my sound. And in a moment you're going to change direction. Stay feeling your feet in contact with the ground if you can. So we're not coming up yet, but simply circling around. And let's try a slightly different dimension. I want you to find a figure 8, so we'll do a circle on this side and then a circle on this side, joining the two through the middle. And it doesn't matter which direction you're going, because in a moment we'll change direction anyway. I encourage you to now turn this into a walk if you can. Don't worry about getting it right. You can't mess this up. This is your own body. And breathe. And then changing direction. Taking a walk around the room, whether the space that you have available is the size of a postage stamp or a ballroom. spine here. So noticing that as you move your hips, nothing's in isolation. Can you feel that movement tracking up and down your spine? Does it impact your head in some way? And let's take this similar type of movement now to the rib cage. So if it helps just finding a moment of stillness, we'll go back into standing corpse and then moving the ribs just in one circle, one way. Keeping the knees soft, finding that sound. And then the other way, just forward and back. And then finding a figure 8. So I'm personally circling one way and then coming back through the center. And then turn this into a walk. Wherever you are, maybe looking at what's around you as you're exploring this movement in your rib cage, changing direction. And then letting that go, just taking a moment to find that original action of the water body. Just in case something crept up, releasing any tension that's unnecessary. And then now this last shape that I want to show you is if you were a wagon wheel, maybe that would help. So thinking about coming up with the pelvis and then down. And so this one, I find personally I like to have one foot in front of the other. And then this time you are going to come up off the floor. And this is just working with the pelvis. But then noticing this action of the pelvis will impact other parts of the spine. And you can take this into a walk. Whatever space you have to move around in. And you can slow this down, change direction. And you can speed this up. So what happens when you start to change the speed that you're working at? What does this do to your breath, to your voice? And we're going to let this go in a moment. And now find that in your rib cage. So wagon wheel, I'm going to collapse down and come around. And I'm still finding that support in my knees. You might be feeling quite warm by this point, and that's the idea, that this is a really great way to warm up the body. And changing direction and play with speed, right? So what happens if you slow down or speed up? And walk around if you wish. And we're going to let this go. In 3, in 2, in 1. And just give a gentle shake out on sound. And again, let's orient back into the room if you feel like you've gotten a little fixated on your own body or on the screen. Take a look in the room where you are. And notice something that your eyes might like to look at, or something that feels neutral, or something that is curious to you. And notice your breath in this moment. What is it already doing? And as you exhale on sound, what happens to your voice? Without you trying to do anything, what's already there? Beautiful. This last portion I'm going to show you before we have a bit of a free-form exercise is working with the spine. And many of you may be familiar with roll-ups, whether you are a yoga practitioner or whether you've done lots of voice training that involves rolling up and down the spine. And so this might be quite similar or a little bit different take on a spinal roll-up. So what I want you to do, I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see my spine, but you are more than welcome to face the front of the camera. And again, starting in that standing corpse pose, knees are soft. Maybe even here there's a little wave from the tailbone up to the top of the head. Let the jaw go. And then what is it to find that wave from the head down? One way might be easier than the other. And you can now bounce between the two. So sending it up and sending it down. Sending it up and sending it down. And take a moment to hum and send that hum along your spine like it is a physical thing that you are bouncing from your tailbone to your head and then back down. And then let that go gently. And now I want you to bring your arms up and bend your knees if you can. So it's like you're opening your chest and you're laying your chest along the table. And then keep rolling down with the spine until the head is the last thing to go. Hang out at the bottom. This is not a flexibility exercise, so you can have your hands down or you can simply have your hands dangling. Keep your knees soft and breathe. And now stack the spine one vertebra at a time. And then as your head comes up, let your arms grow up. And then let the tailbone take you down, opening the chest as if you were lying across a counter. And then your head and arms are the last to release. Hang at the bottom for a breath. And then stack that spine one vertebra at a time. And you can do this in your own timing. I'm just giving you some verbal cues to help you. As the chest opens up, the arms grow from the heart. And then opening that chest across the table until the head releases and the arms release. Breathing here at the bottom, stacking the spine one vertebra at a time. Opening the arms from the heart. And then laying that chest across the table and releasing the head. Take a breath. Rolling up the spine one vertebra at a time. We'll do this one last time as the heart opens up, letting the arms grow. And then releasing the knees, letting the tailbone lead the roll down until the heart, arms, and chest release. Take a breath. And then roll slowly up the spine. Let the arms stay down and find a standing corpse. And you can have your eyes open or closed for a moment. Now, you might feel a little lightheaded here. This is a lot of movement. And so if you'd like to take a moment to sit, of course, please sit on the ground. Take care of your body. And for those of you who are feeling okay to stay standing, just look around the room where you are in space. Noticing what your eyes would like to see. The last part of this practice is a free-form exploration. I'm going to play music for 2 minutes, and I encourage you to investigate your own way of moving by using some of the forms that you learned and looking at how that informs your breath, your sound, and your own experience inside of your own body. But then also having fun with it and being able to break it apart if you wish, and to move your body in ways that feel good or interesting to you. To review, some of the forms that I took you through is the bending and releasing of the knees, playing with different speeds. Then I took you through exploring shooting out water through your limbs, and also being able to explore that oppositional force. So finding connection to the earth even as you're releasing energy up, or being able to find release and movement through 2 limbs or more being used at one time. I then had you explore moving your hips on a horizontal plane through circles and figures of 8, as well as the rib cage. And I also encouraged you to think about how those movements aren't just isolated, that they can then require movements elsewhere. I then had you explore moving on a vertical plane, exploring that image of the wagon wheel, both in the hips and also in the ribs. And then had you focus in a little bit more on the spine, both in just sending a subtle wave up and down the spine, and then going into a full roll up and roll down by starting tail to head to go down, having the tail initiate and the head be the last part to release, and then tail to head to come up, having the tail initiate and then stacking the spine and exploring the expansion of the chest and the heart and leading into an expansion of the arms. So have fun, don't overthink it, and let's have a jam for 2 minutes.